Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Mitchell Palmer McDonald, and this is MSR Business. And we are speaking with three very knowledgeable people about home ownership and the journey to home ownership. Am I correct? And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get this conversation started. Okay.
I'll go first. I'm Theressa Ruiz. I'm the Homeownership Services Program Manager at PRG.
Okay.
I'm Kirstin Burch. I'm the Executive Director at PRG.
Okay.
I'm Lance Elliott, Mortgage Officer, Community Development Mortgage Officer for Frandsen Bank.
Okay. For each of you, whoever wants to go first, how did you get started in the business?
I was started in the business on the wholesale side. You know, mortgages are not just loans for individuals to own homes or families to own homes. They're also bought and sold on the open market.
Okay.
And I was brought in on that end to learn about how to package them up and put them in portfolios for banks or other entities to purchase.
Okay.
From there, I learned the human side of it.
Okay.
And you know what all these numbers were behind the spreadsheets. You know, credit scores, what they call debt to income ratio, loan to value, all kinds of things that we abbreviate in the market, but they're the basis of what loans are approved and denied on.
Okay.
That was 1998. I grew in the mortgage industry, became an originator, and got out right around the crash of 07, 08.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and did some entrepreneurial things. Had a video business, had a restaurant from the East Coast, Baltimore, and moved here right before the pandemic. Couldn't have sold my restaurant at a better time.
Man.
But 2020, I was looking to get into the food industry here, and pandemic just shut all that down.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to fall back on something that I had some expertise, that I had some knowledge, and mortgages at that time were booming.
Okay.
So I got a crash course in this 2% rate refinance craze. My phone was ringing off the hook. But I got to learn the area. I got to learn the new way of doing it because when I was doing it back before '07, it was more paper, more fax machines, you know, more in-person stuff. That was the digital era.
Right.
6 feet separation,
Man.
doing stuff over Zoom. But yeah, since then, I really got into the community aspect of it here, which I really didn't do much when I started out, and helping first-time home buyers,
Okay.
helping people understand what it means to be a homeowner, how to get
Right.
ready to become a homeowner, and the generational wealth that, you know, the potential that it has to change, you know, people's lives.
Yeah.
And that aspect of it drives me and keeps me going.
All right.
And that's the part I love the most.
Okay. All right. Kirsten, how did you start it?
Yeah, I've spent a couple of decades working in housing across different maybe parts of the housing ecosystem. I spent a good amount of time in the insurance industry protecting housing assets. I've worked in local government, working on housing policy, designing programs to create more access and stability around housing and home ownership. I've worked on systems change efforts and funding and philanthropy around housing. And so I've really looked at the way that it creates stability and how instability in housing can disrupt a lot in someone's life. I'd say my particular focus on home ownership really started with my own home buying journey. When I was going to purchase my home,
Yeah.
I didn't know organizations like PRG existed to help people understand the process, get the education they need, make informed decisions about what they were going to buy. And I was kind of in it on my own. My parents owned a home. I grew up in a house that my parents owned. But when I was getting started, they're like, we're excited for you. We support you. But we bought our house in 1976. We can't really help you with what it means to purchase a house present day.
Yeah. Things have changed.
Things have changed quite a bit. And, you know, they maintained their home but weren't navigating the buying market present day. And so I was kind of on my own, and I found myself in a situation where 2 days before I was going to close on my first home, my entire transaction fell apart, and I got word that this wasn't going to happen and that I would need to start over. And it was devastating.
Yeah, I
It
was about to
was
say, how was it?
it was devastating. It was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life because you put so much in your time, your energy, your resources
Yes, you do.
into buying a home, and you put your trust in those that are helping you navigate the process. And it didn't work out well. And I was able to, recover and save actually the transaction and buy the home that I originally wanted to buy. But it took me an additional 4 months to get there. And I thought something has to change. There's organizations that exist to support people, and I want to make sure nobody else experiences their homeownership journey in the same way that I did. And so I really shifted my focus to thinking specifically about what does the homeownership journey look like, and particularly what does it look like for Black households, and how can we create systems and ensure that people have what they need when they're embarking on this journey, which is one of the largest decisions you will make in your lifetime.
So you took your experience and learned from it and turned it into a positive.
Absolutely.
Okay, but it was
It,
it was a stressful
it was
process.
a positive end.
It wasn't positive now, but it worked out, right?
It worked out.
Okay.
It worked out.
Okay, Tracey.
What got me into this space in business is, well, I started working at a bank for when I was young. I worked there for about 16 years. Um, and it was a bank that I didn't feel good working there. It was Wells Fargo. We're not shy of the different programs and practices that they put in place. So what got me started in this role was I was young purchasing property, teaching others around me, and then going to work. It didn't feel good. I wanted to be in a space where I felt more purposeful. I was educating my family, my peers. It was a space where I could do that every day, daily, not just when friends and family members reached out to me. So,
Man, and it's interesting. I mean, you all have different journeys, but it's interesting how all of you used your personal experience. I just want to make sure I stress that that your personal experience kind of drove you to what it sounds like is you guys' passion, if I'm not mistaken, just by the tone in the way you answer your question. You talked a little bit. I wanted you to expand a little bit on what you said. What keeps you going? That's my next question. What keeps you going in this? Because I know I'm probably thinking that there are difficulties, there are barriers that you face, there are obstacles that you face. But despite that, you're here doing this interview. What keeps to all three of you? What keeps you going?
For me, it's the snapshot with the big key in their hand at the end. It's the realization that they could achieve something that they thought was unachievable.
Right.
It's the young guy. You say you started buying properties young. The young guy that has this investment portfolio dream, and we got the first one under his belt. It's the satisfaction of the people.
Okay.
It's the joy of the people. It's the her situation. I've been in those situations on the other end as the loan officer for a client.
Wow.
That it falls through or is delayed, and that whole emotional roller coaster, and keeping them encouraged.
Yeah.
I remember I had one sister. She elderly mama. She was like in her 70s. And she said, it's always something. It never goes through. I was like a third loan officer.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, it's always something. It's not going to happen. And just, dealing with that despair, and then, trying to keep their spirits up, and doing all you can, to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then when it comes through, man, there's nothing like that in the world.
Yeah. All right.
validating moments for me are those client success stories, like hearing, the success and the picture with the key, and I couldn't have done this without your help. Also seeing and meeting clients who say it shouldn't be this hard for a Black woman to purchase a house. And seeing, that we can hold their hand and help them get to the closing table. And also with our home stretch workshop that we provide, just seeing all the engaged participants raising their hands, asking if they can take the 8-hour class again, because they learned so much. Those are like those moments that are validating.
I'll echo Theressa. It's those big celebratory moments that we have at PRG. We ring a bell when someone closes up,
Oh, really?
and everybody celebrates
Yeah, I mean,
together.
that happened to me when I bought my house. Oh man,
And
that's pretty cool.
it is. It's a moment for us to pause and be grateful for what someone was able to accomplish. And it's with our support that we're able to celebrate that with them. But it's also the quiet moments. And it's when I hear people exercising choice, because every success story isn't that someone ultimately buys a house.
True.
We do education and advising. We help people understand what it really takes to purchase a home and decide if they're really ready for it. And so even when a client works with us and they decide now is not the right time, or this isn't really something that I want long term, I'm gonna take a step back and explore my options. That's a win for us. That means we're doing our job. That means we are giving people the education and the knowledge that they need to make informed decisions, and that's just as important as being able to successfully close.
That's a great point.
That's a real good point. What are some of the to all of you again? Every question I ask is to all of you. Let me just get that out the way. But what are some of the barriers that you face? What are some? I know you have things that keep you going, but what are some examples of some things that you might face as you deal with home ownership? And I probably say this particularly in the Black community.
I'd say what comes to mind for me immediately is, regardless of the work we're doing, we can't defy economics. And the market that we're in, home prices are rising, interest rates are rising, incomes are not growing as fast. So just affordability in homeownership is a challenge that everyone across the board is facing.
Right.
And when we couple that with increase in what I consider carrying costs, like maintaining your homeowner's insurance and paying your property taxes, that margin gets so narrow that the opportunity becomes less and less viable without resources like down payment assistance or things to help make home purchase affordable. And then when I think about the Black community specifically, we are overcoming historic and present day exclusion that is not just about a history of not being able to achieve home ownership, but also being locked out of economic tools that allow people to build credit and build wealth and build reserves. That just puts us at a different starting place. And so we are coming to the table, having to overcome major barriers in income and in credit and in savings and reserves. We're oftentimes first generation home buyers because of that historic exclusion from ownership. And we're still navigating the same market realities of it not being affordable for many people. And so that it's just a little bit harder, but we have tools that are making it easier every day. And organizations like ours and working with strong lending partners help to illuminate what is possible. And our work is to help people see that there still is a pathway, and it may look different for you, but we can help you get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she covered that one.
Yeah.
You guys are echoing those words, huh?
Ditto.
Well, how can I ask this real quick? Both your organizations are poised to supporting first-time homeowners. Can you just kind of expand on that, on how you go about your day, how you go about your business?
Well, I definitely wanted them to tell everybody what PRG is.
Yes.
What they do,
Yes.
how they do it, and then that kind of feeds into what I do and how I do.
All right. Yeah, Leah, let's hear it. Let's do it.
So our HUD certified advisors walk alongside our clients with free, trustworthy advice. We help with credit building. All of our services are free. We're a nonprofit, so pulling credit is free. We create action plans, go over what your credit score looks like when it goes to a lender, what they're looking for, how you have to have income, what debt to income ratio is. And we do check-ins. We check in and see, where are you at on your action plan? How's your budget looking? Do we need to go over that again? Have you met with any lenders? Have you met with any realtors? Are you ready for that yet? If you're not, we let people know, you need a little bit more work. And we work with people for however long they need it. Like if it takes 3 years for someone to get mortgage ready, we still work with them.
Where have I been? But go ahead. Where have I been? I'm just amazed at what's going on right now.
And what I was saying about how what they do,
Mm-hmm.
supports what I do and feeds into what I do
Yeah.
is so I'm a community development loan officer,
Okay.
which means I specifically deal with first-time home buyers,
Mm-hmm.
folks that may not be uh, ready right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to build a relationship and a pipeline so that they get ready.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet clients that are not very clear on the process or don't know what their credit scores are or aren't sure how much money they have or that they how much money they need to
Yes.
purchase a home, then I have PRG as a partner that I can send them there. Okay, let's start with the home stretch class.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 8-hour class that gives them soup to nuts, everything about becoming a homeowner and sustaining home ownership. There's like, I don't know how many sections it is, but it's an 8-hour class, so it's intense. And they're encouraged to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
make sure they understand what's going on. After that, then I'll send them to one of the advisors, one of the HUD certified advisors, where they can do a soft credit pull and see exactly where they are. The kind of credit pull that a mortgage company would do,
Mm-hmm.
because we look at all three bureaus and take the one in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just a credit karma score or your bank credit score, because that's not what the mortgage lenders are going to look at.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, there's a big variance between those and what the mortgage lender is going to look at. So they prepare the client in terms of the class, the one-on-one advisory, and then I can see where they are and collaborate with PRG on that
Okay.
plan. Maybe you're 3 months away, maybe you're 6 months away, maybe you're 24 months away. But either way, here are the footsteps. Here's the blueprint to get you there.
So you end up working together.
Exactly.
Man.
And and then if and when we do buy a home, it's all of our success.
Oh, okay.
It's all of our input. And that's just a whole community aspect of being a homeowner.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of things that have been lost, for me, I don't know. I'm new to the Twin Cities. I've been here 5 years.
Yeah.
But I know, coming from the East Coast, it wasn't very neighborly.
And
We
you
kind of lost
were in
that.
Baltimore.
I
I'm
was in
sorry. You were in Baltimore,
Yeah, that's
right?
right.
Okay.
Not very neighborly.
Mhm.
It's not so much where your neighbor, you borrowing a cup of sugar. You watching their kids when they're outside doing something they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of that. And I think we look at it as, I just want to own a home. I want to do this. I want to do that. And this kind of brings you back into that communal thinking, because it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to buy a house sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. And I love the partnership that I have with PRG. I was just by there last week to meet a client. I'm walking through the halls. I'm joking a little bit. It's a real good feel. It feels like family, and we want the clients to feel that, and to make this, because it can be hard. Kirstin told you her story.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things you're going to do, and I emphasize that all along the way. Look, this is not easy.
Yes.
You're complaining about getting me some pay stubs right now. It's going to get a lot harder than this. Just encouraging them and teaching them and learning from them. That's the process, and that's what that's why we're here.
Man, I think what I find very interesting is the partnership. It's two different companies where usually there's we're taught that competition.
It's my client.
See, we're taught that and particularly in the Black community, we're taught that separation. Taught get what you can get.
Right.
And this is what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that by you all coming together, your clients see that you have a partnership going, and then that starts to reverberate throughout the community, particularly when it comes to home buying, because it's not. If you bought a house, you already know it's not easy. It's not an easy process. When I was buying my house, my parents were like, "This is not going to be easy." I'm young and I'm going like this. Man, it's going to be a piece of cake. I got the money, and all that. And then, then when all the other stuff started coming in, I'm sitting there. I got to get what? What do you mean I got to get this? And they were just laughing like, it's not going to be easy, but you know, it can be. But they kept telling me it can be done. Because there were times I wanted to give up, like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna give me a condo or whatever, you know. But you know, they were telling me the importance of home ownership, and then the most important thing they said to me was that I could do it. Because that's what they tell you, most people tell you that you can't. Even your friends go like this, man, just go rent a, you know, just go rent an apartment or something, man. You come on. So that was the interesting part about that. Education is a key component. Um, to you all, what does that mean? How important is it for education to play a role in what you do, and then educating people as you're helping them get a house or on the journey to home ownership?
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's the way I'll put it.
Well, we're teaching our clients, in most cases, what wasn't taught to us at home, what wasn't taught in our communities, how to look at a credit report. Like
Yeah.
Lance mentioned, there's those three credit bureaus that will be looked at, the three credit scores.
Yes.
What's looked at will be the middle score. Um, Learning how that really works, teach that. And then also how like interest rates can affect debt. We go over that as well. So really, it's about what lenders look for, things
Mhm.
we weren't taught, teaching it to our clients so that they can go pass that information to their family members and their friends, and then also give them like word of mouth. I went to PRG, I
Went to
learned this.
PRG, yeah.
Yeah, and we always get those clients who come back to like my sister referred me or my mom was in your class.
Oh, so
You know.
once you're successful
Mm-hmm.
in helping someone, then they refer, they automatically refer. That happens all the time, right? Where
Yeah.
where I bought my house, or they helped me buy my house, so why don't you go? And
Yeah.
then before you know it, you kind of have a line
Mm-hmm.
of people,
Yeah.
and then you have loyal customers
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or your loyal people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that help you. How how does that feel? How does it feel when how can I put this? Are there any I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but are there any moments you remember? Not what you don't have to mention names or anything like that, but are there any moments where you know that you remember that, like, man, you know, I'm very so pleased that I helped this person, or I helped this couple, or you know, purchase or on the journey to home ownership. Is there anything that stands out? Like, this is a moment where I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I first started, there was a client who worked with PRG for a while,
Hmm.
um, and I got to really know her, got to go along with her during her journey, and she shared with me like I moved here from Chicago. As soon as I moved up here, my parents passed away. When
Mm.
my parents passed away, I got into Section 8. And during that journey, I was ready, then I wasn't ready. I was ready. I wasn't ready again.
Hmm.
But PRG stuck with me through that whole time. And without PRG, I wouldn't have been there. I didn't have any parents to lean on after the fact that we moved here. And PRG was that for her.
Mm. So that made you feel pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Any moments?
I'm newer to the organization, and so
Yeah, you
I've been,
just got
I
here.
just, well, you know,
My
it's been about
bad.
8 months. I just
Right,
got
8 months.
here,
You
and
gotta remember. Yeah.
but I'm meeting a lot of people and
Hmm.
going out and connecting with community members and organizations and partners. And the amount of times I walk in a room and say what organization I work for,
Okay.
and there's multiple people that say, PRG helped me buy my house.
Mm-hmm.
I took my home stretch at PRG.
Hmm.
I sent my sister to PRG because they helped me overcome X, Y, or Z barrier.
Hmm.
There's just so many people that this organization has touched, and that lets me know that I'm in the right place,
Hmm.
particularly when I think about who we serve.
Yeah.
PRG serves majority foundational Black households.
Mm.
And so when I'm out in my own community, I grew up in St. Paul, I'm a Frogtown Rondo baby, and I'm out and meeting people and connecting with folks, and there's so many people that are saying this is the organization that helped them get over that hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting to me. It's energizing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Now, did you know that going in?
I was somewhat aware that they were a quiet force.
Okay.
PRG does not toot its own horn very much. It
Okay.
kind of just existed, and we're going to turn 50 next year. But once I joined the organization and
Mhm.
really got to connect on a deeper level, I don't think I truly understood the depth and the magnitude of how many
Mm.
people we reached and what communities we were actually serving.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm even newer. Well, she's new to PRG, but I'm new to the area, and PRG's name does ring out because I'm in these circles. I started at Wells Fargo,
Okay.
and moved to Frandsen because of the community aspect of it. They wanted me specifically to focus on that, and so learning to teach home stretch, and yeah, that's where it hits me. You know, while I'm teaching the home stretch class, while I'm informing the folks how these mortgages work, how do lenders look at you, what are they looking for, and the engagement and the questions and the realness. You know, because I'm me all the time. And you know, I'm not going to talk in bank jargon and make
Right.
something you don't understand.
Right.
I'm going to give it to you the way you can feel it. And I think that's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
And just to see the heads nodding and the questions after, and then the phone call or the email 2 or 3 days later, those things are very encouraging to me. And I know that, like Theressa said, these are things that just weren't taught to us. You know, we had to get jobs to learn these things in most cases, and now we're translating that to something very palatable, you know, very bite-sized and easy to understand, so that it's not a mystery, so that it's not this big taboo. Oh no, I can't own a home. What do you mean? You got to have thousands of dollars in the bank and be making $100,000? No, that's not the case. And we'll look at you where you are, and work with you where you are. And like you said, it may be your decision not to do that.
Right.
You know, the maintenance might be a bit much for you. You know, it might be not a situation that, you know, you want to take on at this time. Maybe you want to wait till your kids get a little bit older, whatever the reason.
Right.
But you know how to do it now.
Right.
You know what to look for. You know what lenders are looking for.
Right.
And you know, on top of that, what market are you in? You know, this is one of the craziest markets. You know, like I said, it started in 1998. I those 28 years, I've seen nothing like this. So you need somebody to help you navigate that part.
Yeah.
You know, not just I call it the CIA, the credit, the income, the assets, but you need somebody to navigate. Hey, what's going on with the 7% and how's it at historical highs? Is this a good time for me? Should I sit out, you know, until I have more reserves? It's all kinds of things, and every situation is unique, like a fingerprint. And you have to take the time with every individual to really understand, you know, what their goals are, long-term goals, not just this house. You know, how long are you going to be in this area?
Right.
How old are your children? Where do your parents live?
Right.
There's a lot of factors that go into this huge decision. And you have to be, you know, willing to take that client on, and you know, you become like an extended family member.
Yeah, and then I mean, then every you know, every client is different. You know, they're bringing something different, you know, to the equation. Sometimes, you know, looking on the outside, you know, we people don't look at it like that. They think that, you know, like when I was young and I was buying my house, I'm sitting there like,
You're still young.
I'm sitting there like, I appreciate that. But when I did that, my friends, excuse me, my friends, you know, my friends were like, you know, they were getting on me and all this, and I wanted to, you know, I wanted to buy a house, you know, simply because even when I was young, I just wanted that home ownership. I wanted to say I had a house. Now, don't get me wrong, I bought it young, and I wasn't thinking about the upkeep and all of that came after I bought it. And I'm sitting there, you know, I was like, man, you know, my parents would be like, I'm like, gutters, what are those? You know, I mean, I was my early 20s. But I keep going back to the same thing, is that, you know, with the class or with you all, I would know how to do it. And I didn't, you know, I didn't know how to do it. I don't even know if my parents knew how to do it. You know, we just bought a house. So, you know, I didn't pay. Now I've refinanced a few times, and so I pay attention more now because I know a lot more than I did when I bought it. Before, I just wanted a house. You know, I wasn't even thinking about the upkeep or anything like that. But now that I'm older, but not older, put
Seasoned.
it like that. So
Seasoned.
seasoned, I'll say. Y'all got me cracking up on it. But now that I'm seasoned, I pay more attention to the things that you all are talking about. And with that, I ask you this: How important is it? How important is it? Do you think for you all to be doing what you're doing, and for people to see that it's you all that are doing it?
Mm,
What do you think about that?
I think that's a Kirstin question.
I mean, the first thing that came to mind is representation does matter.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard it in rooms that we're in.
Yeah.
We do lots of community events where we're just introducing who we are and what we have to offer to help get people curious about homeownership. And
Mm-hmm.
I hear, from Black women in particular, like I love knowing that I'm going to get help from a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I feel seen. I feel like you'll understand maybe some of the same things I'm navigating as I'm thinking about homeownership. I think culturally, PRG staff is 75% Black.
Okay.
We represent the communities that we serve, and I think it makes people there's an instant welcoming of kind of who you are and maybe what your journey might have been, because there's some culturally shared experiences that we bring to the table with our professional experience, our personal experience, and we kind of lay that out there. And when we think about education, we have our structured, courses that we offer, our advising framework, but we also bring in that lens of like helping people understand that there's nothing to be ashamed of or feel embarrassed of as you're navigating this process. Everybody's starting from right where they need to start, and we've seen so many things that we are not worried about what's happened in the past. What we're thinking about is what it looks like to move forward, and we have helped people overcome barriers that seem insurmountable. And we have even a program that we offer that is less about if someone's ready to buy and to get ready to start looking for a house, but really looking at the emotional barriers they have to homeownership and the fact that they maybe thought it would never be a possibility for them, and just wanting to understand, am I even emotionally ready to start this process? And we can take it from there. And so I think it's important, and I think that speaks to who's employed at PRG and why they're employed at PRG, because it's not just about a number for us and, closing a transaction and saying we helped X number of people buy homes, but it's about we helped change the trajectory of people's lives because they see what's possible for them.
Right.
And we're not telling them you have to meet certain criteria to get help from us. You have to have a certain income. You have to have a certain credit score. You just have to be curious. You just have to be curious, and we will welcome you as you are.
Boy, that was a question for her. You're right. You are definitely right about that. Oh man. How can I? Let me see. It's a tough season for home buying right now, I think. And what are some of the items you're seeing in the market contributing to the slow home purchases?
Well, we just come out of a perfect storm
Okay.
of, 2018, 2020, rates were coming down, and then this
Yes, they
global
were.
pandemic hit, and it just bottomed everything out. I mean, you got people that are sitting with 1.99% rates right now, that they got in 2020, 2021. But I mean, the average was like mid two to low threes. So you had this huge influx of refinances, because that's, historically, the average rate is right around where it is right now. High sixes, sevens. When my mom bought a house in the 80s, or the late 70s, early 80s, it was double digits. It was like 11%. But the prices were so much lower and more indicative of where the incomes were. So with that influx of people refinancing and everybody buying too at those low rates, it drove prices up. There was more demand than supply.
Okay.
So with that and the low rates, you had people paying 50, 60, $100,000 over asking, because they thought, hey, we're not going to have to go to work anymore. We're going to be working from home. I don't even have to live in the same state I work in anymore. So there were all these,
That's right.
adventurous things that people took advantage of, and now they've turned into what we call golden handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
because even if I want to sell and move again, I don't want to give up my low rate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sell my house, even though it's skyrocketed in value, to go get another house that's also skyrocketed in price at this high rate.
Mm-hmm.
So the inventory is low.
Right.
So you got people looking for houses that they can barely afford, and there's only a few of them. Now that's changing to where people are like, okay, I've held on to this low rate as long as I can. I gotta upsize, I gotta downsize, I gotta move closer to family, I gotta do something.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're having trouble selling it because, because the prices are high, because the
Right.
rates are high,
Right.
because the job market isn't what it was, because the incomes didn't increase at the rate that the houses increased. So you got people scrambling saying, I want that house, but I can't afford that house. I want to sell my house, but these contracts keep falling through. So we're in this very weird quagmire of nobody's getting satisfied.
No, I've
Very,
heard that.
very rare, but even so, PRG keeps me busy. I do my best to keep them busy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are, opportunities out there, but that's why you have professionals that help you navigate this stuff. And I tell my borrowers all the time, and my potential borrowers,
Mm-hmm.
you got to look at me like your defense attorney. Tell me everything, because we don't want to get in front of the judge and be surprised.
Yeah.
We don't want you, shooting for the moon when maybe we should be looking at, some of these clouds over here.
Mm-hmm.
So the market is the market, and the market's going to fluctuate. It's going to change. I remember back in 07, we were doing all these ridiculous no income, no asset type loans. Anybody could buy a house. You have a 600 credit score, you're in. And then all that came crashing down because it wasn't prudent. So I really love how, like Kirstin said, we give the information so that you can make an informed decision. Is this the right time for you? Maybe not. Let's keep working. Let's build up those savings. Let's get that promotion on the job. Let's wait for some of these prices to come down. Let's wait for this down payment assistance to open back up again. There's so many variables, and you need folk that know that landscape to help guide you and show you, we can strike right now. Here's a program that'll give you $30,000 down payment. That's just what you need to get over the hump. And then looking at the ramifications of that program, and does that fit? You need 10 years in this before it's forgiven, but you plan to move in 5, so maybe that's not the right one for you. There's so many nuance and pitfalls. That's why you need folk that know what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it's important that they have someone that can let them know, hey, the rates are down. We don't know. We're not looking that stuff up. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know, or the rates are high right now. And I think it's very important, just based on talking to you all, that there is somebody that can guide that, because don't ask me if the interest rates are up in mine, because I haven't looked anything up or anything like that. But
until you need to.
But it's good that there are people like you all that are available to help guide your clients, and not just kind of leave them out there.
Right.
I think that's very very important. I'm sorry, I'm looking at these questions. Let's see. I know both of your organizations support or have kind of the saying that home ownership is possible for everyone, right? Now, who's everyone? Is it 18? I know it's not 17. Is it 18 to 90? 18 to I don't know. What's but when you say for everyone, what do you mean by everyone?
I know we mean that, everyone that it makes sense for and that's
Gotcha.
ready for it.
All right.
And it's all about the preparedness, the education. Do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah.
And I work with other lenders and loan officers at
Mhm.
different institutions.
Right.
I'm about the clients, you know. So if I know my guy over here has a better program than I do for this
Mhm.
particular property for your particular situation,
Mhm.
I'm going to introduce you.
Okay.
I'm going to send you over there, and then we're going to talk, all
Mhm.
three of us.
Mm.
So it's you have to do what's best for
Mhm.
the people. At least that's the way I see it. I've been 100% commission loan officer before, and out there ripping and running,
Mhm.
and just looking for the next dollar. But now it's about service.
Mhm.
And I forget your question. I don't know if I'm going off on a tangent.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine because I got a response.
Right.
No, I
Yeah.
was about to respond to what you were saying, because even if you say let's talk to this person, let's talk to another person that
Mhm.
might have a better, you still might end up coming up with a solution for you.
Exactly.
There's always that possibility.
Exactly.
So that's what I was responding to.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. It's not it's not just about, it's about finding that for your client, because even if you find a better situation for them somewhere else, all right, they'll still come back and go, you know what though, that person helped me
Mhm.
and
Right.
didn't try to, get over
Right.
it.
And now I remember your question. It was about, is it for everybody?
Yeah.
And just because I can't help you get there,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody else can help you get there, you know, let's see if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody that's ready and able,
Mm-hmm.
and that it makes sense for.
So it is for everybody.
It is for everybody.
As long as you know what you're buying and why you're buying it,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most important thing. Our
Yeah.
clients range in age from as young as 18, and we stick with them even after purchase, and we'll step back in if people are facing crisis or foreclosure. Last year, our oldest client was 99.
Mm-hmm.
We serve
Yeah.
people across the spectrum, and it's really just about, are you making an informed decision? And that's why it's a win either way for us. But it really is an opportunity that anyone that is interested should explore and determine if it's the right opportunity for them.
And something else you just made me think about. She said a 99-year-old customer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to customers on the phone, in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s, and they're like, "Well, I can't get no 30-year mortgage. I ain't gonna live to be 100." That's not what we're doing here.
Mhm.
The mortgage is just a tool for your housing expense.
Yes.
No matter where you are,
Yeah.
at least in this great U.S. of A. that I know of,
Mm-hmm.
I guess some veterans don't pay property tax, but you're still gonna pay homeowners insurance.
Right.
So there's always a housing expense, even just the
Yes.
maintenance of the house. Like you said, the gutters.
Oh man.
Even if the house is paid off and you don't owe no taxes, you still have an expense, a housing expense.
I'm tripping now just thinking about it. Seriously. I'm sorry. I'm getting personal.
Right.
Man. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions in buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those misconceptions that people might get confused with, and that are misconceptions?
I think one big one is if you've had credit issues.
Mm-hmm.
I can't buy a home. My credit was bad. What is
Okay.
it? 12 to 24 months that lenders look at.
Yep.
Like you still have time. Just because you went through a year of bad credit, you still can do the work to get there. You need 12 to 24 months to do it.
Mhm.
Don't cancel yourself out just because
Exactly.
you had a hard time, you couldn't pay your bills on time.
Oh, so you can clear it up that quick
Yeah.
as far as for the lenders.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
And I tell everybody, credit is nothing to be super proud of or super ashamed of.
Mm.
It's a snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, look here, I don't want to just, a lot of times loan officers will say, oh, you're interested? Let's fill out an application. Let's pull that credit. That's the first thing they want to do. I say, well, we can do that, but it's more like, what would you prefer? We're at the cookout. I'll take a picture of you with some ribs in your mouth. Candy. or I say, we're going to have a photo shoot Tuesday, 2:00. Here's some money to get your hair and nails done.
Mm-hmm.
Which one you going to like better?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, don't rush into an application. Don't rush to take a snapshot of your credit. let's let them pull it. They got what's called a soft pull. Doesn't affect your score. We can look at it. So before we present our case to the judge, we're gonna make sure you are decked to the nines. You got on your best outfit, your hair did, nails done, your face beat. And then we're gonna say, hey, they want to buy a house. And that's a good one. That because my credit is bad, it's like a permanent disease or something. No,
like I'm stuck here.
right? No, we can turn that thing around. We can put some positive things on that credit. We can get rid of this negative reporting that's going on. And we can get your scores to a point where lenders say you're a safe risk. Another one is you got to have 20% down. Once upon a time, I guess that might have been the case. But that's when houses. My grandmother bought a house in 1955 for $12,000. When I helped her sell it in 2005, so what's that? 50 years. It was worth $550,000. But at one point, a house wasn't much more than a car. But now, we got programs where as little as 5% down, as little as 3.5% down, as little as 3% down, as little as $1,000 out of your pocket. We can get you in there if everything else is where it needs to be. And we're going to help you get everything else where it needs to be.
Where do you see challenges or as far as keeping it positive to home ownership, and is there any room for improvement? So I'll ask it one more time.
All right.
I'm reading the question.
No, right, yeah.
What do you see challenges or keeping it positive? And then it says, is there opportunity for improvement? That's what it is. So first, are there challenges?
Oh, yeah.
That's still, and then is there room for, you guys are doing a real good job now.
Right.
But is there room for improvement? I guess that's what
always. Improvement is always possible. My wife is a therapist, so I always have to be reflecting. I always got to be getting better.
Yes.
Because that's what she's about. She helps people get better. And yeah, there's always techniques that you pick up. I'm learning right here sitting in between these two ladies, I'll see them at events or we'll talk about a client or something like that. But just to hear them sharing their thoughts and their experiences, all of that is material.
No, that's true. I'm learning a lot. Trust me.
Definitely.
Definitely big time.
So yeah, there's always ways to improve. I think, and that's why we do things like this. We have events that we gather, real estate professionals. I just saw Theressa at NARED meeting. And we're always honing and sharing, what we're running into, best practices, those types of things. So yeah, we're always improving the way we do this. And I think, I'm fairly new to this, like maybe 3 years into the community lending. But I think that it's a nice groundwork laid, this whole process with sending clients to them or them sending clients to me. It's a great process. And we just have to do what we have to do, make sure we're educated on the down payment assistance programs, on the credit builder programs, and I'm really interested, I'm going to talk to Kirstin offline about, the emotional part, because that's huge. We deal with a community that is severely traumatized.
Yes.
And I've learned that, you have to be sensitive to that. And you have to even anticipate that. So yeah, that's never a question that I know of. Improvement is always possible.
Yeah. And I mean, and no matter who you are, no matter what profession you have, no matter what kind of money you make, you still have to be knowledgeable about what's going on, and then particularly in the Black community, people, you hate to say it, but people are still just looking at Black. They're just looking at not caring about what you're doing or how you're contributing to society or anything, and then even the people who are struggling, and then even the people who are struggling but who are just as intelligent, you get that stigma of they're black and struggling, just like the stereotype, that type of thing. And that's why I think it's important. See, I'm giving speeches now, but but that's why I think it's important for people to see you three and what you're doing, because we as a community, until we see it, we don't know what's
They don't
happening.
believe it.
We have no idea that it's happening, and then if someone says, "Man, they're doing it," we don't believe it's happening. Just because of how we've been, programmed.
And disappointed so often.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
culturally, I
Yes.
believe 100% that there's something embedded in us that we have to work twice as hard to get half as much, and
Yes.
it's tied to
Yes.
very real realities that people have navigated,
Mm-hmm.
and it feeds this myth of like you have to fit in a certain box to be worthy
Yes.
of support.
Yes.
And I think that's where our opportunity is to keep lifting up that you don't have to fit in any box
Mm-hmm.
to come to us
Yeah.
and get started on this journey and get support and talk about why you're interested in this and what you're scared of and what you want to pursue. I think as nonprofits, we need to do a better job of
Mhm.
making sure people know that our services are for everyone,
Yeah.
not just for, a lot of people think, oh, it's just for folks that are super low income or meet this certain criteria. And that's just not who we are as an organization. And so I think that's an opportunity that I see for us to kind of dispel some of those myths and cultural realities that this isn't an opportunity for me. It is.
And that's another misconception, right? That we gotta fit in somewhere. But just like you all just said, there's an opportunity for everybody. But for some reason, we are kind of programmed and trained to have this belief that certain, because I'm in a certain position, that it can't happen for me. Uh, with as we close, we usually ask, or I usually ask my guests to have an opportunity to talk about something that wasn't discussed. Something, maybe there might be something that there was a question. Boy, you know what? I really wish you would ask this. So I want to talk about that, and then also any advice you would have to anyone, for one, to get into the profession that you're in, and then two, anything about home ownership. You don't have to have it now. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But
Well, maybe one thing I want to share
Mhm.
about PRG that we didn't discuss is, our education and advising is our bread and butter, but we're also a developer. We build and sell single family homes and we rehab single family homes across the region and make them available for affordable homeownership opportunities. So the market challenges that we were talking about, we also have a line of business that's addressing those and making sure that we are able to support putting people into quality affordable homes. Because oftentimes when you get to the price point that you can afford, the home is in a level of disrepair that makes it even a bigger challenge. And so housing quality is really important to us too. And so we want to work on both sides of that. We want you to have all the information. We want to get you connected to resources. We do down payment assistance and administer those programs, but we also want to put you in quality homes. And so we think about the full scale of what it takes to get into successful and sustainable home ownership at PRG. And my advice, I know I probably sound like a parrot, please just be curious. Don't feel like you have to have any level of readiness to give us a call, but just be curious. And we have a lot of information on our website. You can find us at prginc.org. We're also PRG is also on Facebook and on Instagram. You can make appointments online. You can give us a call. Someone's always going to answer the phone. Just get curious.
Okay. I like that. Just get curious. Yeah, I didn't give you all my AKAs. I've done so many different things throughout my life. I'm a little bit older than I look. Frandsen Bank is in the community. So a large swath of North Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, different areas in Hennepin and Ramsey County. and in other areas a rate as low as 5.49%. And these are 30-year fixed rates, so they're a good point and a half below, what's on the market right now. And it's for specific areas, specific properties. But I mean, if it fits, it fits. So, and that's another thing. All these different banks, some of them have what's called portfolio products, something that they do outside of the realm of the norm. So it's good to have knowledge of what those are and how they fit, everyone's fingerprint situation. But I'm Lance Elliott. That's 2 L's and 2 T's. I'm very greedy. Frandsen Bank, you never heard of it, but you're gonna see it on the. I always wanted to do this. It's gonna see it on the screen, right? Give me a call. Give me an email. Do what you got to do. I'm always ready to talk, unless I'm already talking. I just had to, just 2 or 3 calls since I've been here. But I love educating. I love talking. I love, just connecting with people and helping this stuff be easier than it looks. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I agree with Lance and Kirstin, and I can be reached or found at PRG. 180. But just to share like what home ownership probably means to all of us, like it means stability, empowerment, breaking generational barriers.
Yeah, that's important. The generational barriers probably we forget about. Some of the families are first time homeowners because their parents rented.
Right.
And we're moving all over the place.
And just didn't have that knowledge to pass down.
There you go.
It's always something that, you're just a little scared of because you don't know enough about it.
Right. And now you all are providing the knowledge to pass down to the, for generations to come.
That's right.
Well, I want to, this was fun for me. I hope it was for you. I really enjoyed this conversation. Like I told you, I'm a sports guy, so Ray was like, "Hey, you want to interview some?" That was business people, man. Wait, I was like, "Wait a minute, hold up, man."
No, not that fancy.
But I was like, "Hold up, wait a minute," and then home ownership. We all have that in common. We, most of us want to own a home. We do. We want to have that feeling that this is my house. That type of deal. And it's a good feeling that you don't know until you do it.
Right.
And I really appreciate you all coming and sharing your stories with the audience and with the listeners. So I just wanted to thank you for showing up. I'm about to end this now, but thank you for showing up, and thank you for watching MSR Business. I am Dr. Mitchell Palmer McDonald, and please continue to read us in the Spokesman-Recorder.